Okay, never mind, this thing loaded. So this is our robot this year. Aw, dang, those mates look ugly there. Oh, come on, man. You can do this. So you guys could probably skip ahead for a little bit second. So, yeah, here we are, finally there. So let's check out our inner side plate. Showmates. No. Switch to, we're gonna, oh, we haven't selected the thing properly. So, right click and then to switch to this plate here. So this plate is basically made out of aluminum and it's pretty heavily pocketed. So in this tutorial we will not be pocketing plates because if you guys make this for your initial versions you'll be probably using plywood to prototype it. And to be honest, I think we might swap from aluminum over to perhaps polycarbonate in the future. But as you can see here, yeah, that's what I did very early on. So let's check. So this linear pattern is around 304 millimeters. Is 304 a multiple of 8? Yes it is, so let's just do 304 like we did before. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so what we can do here is that we can do a linear pattern here. So we're going to copy this once. As we choose this, we just highlight the whole entire thing. Boom. So you can see here, this looks kind of confusing. So automatically, there are two directions. One is this way and one is this way. So as you can see, we can drag this like this. We can flip direction pressing this arrow here. And basically we only need 2. So we're going to change this number to 2. So if you want like it along this axis, you just basically change the number along this axis to whatever number you want. So we need to change the document properties actually. Not document properties, the workspace units. Workspace units. We always use millimeters, basically. Kind of, sort of the good standard. So we make this 304. Great. Let's actually flip direction. So I can just do negative 304. Or in the early case, I could have just, But yeah. So let's just like basically mirror what this is doing essentially here. So what we can do here is we can highlight this. And project it. Boom. How great. Then we make a line in the middle, construction line, and then we can choose the midpoint. Up. Also construction line, make sure about that. And then we can mirror this part too. So there is no shortcut for mirror, so I just choose mirror, and boom. It's over here. Now all I need to do is connect. I think this accidentally became a thin arc instead of a line. This is something that's kind of annoying. It automatically does that when you swipe your mouse around. Dot. Dot. Great. And then let's do some mounting holes. We will always need some holes to mount the thing. So one thing to note is that, for instance, well, you need to first, something to need to consider is that you need to connect the two sides of the robot together. Like you can see here, to connect the two sides of the robot together here. That's very important. You see there's a beam in the middle here. We need to consider that. Second of all, another thing we need to consider is that you see here there is a lot of there's no support here. So this might be fine if it's aluminum, but most times you do not want this to happen. Like even if it's aluminum, you kind of want supports here. So as you can see here, there are a lot of supports here. So we're going to go into that later, but right now we're just going to make the basic plate like it's at least a plate right now. So right now, let's just choose 4 holes to do, to initially hold the thing together. So let's do this, and let's mirror these two. The reason why I didn't choose this one is like it's actually a bit too close to here, so if you use plywood, this could easily crack out. Let me see. Mirror, boop, and then choose this, and it's mirrored. Great. So let's see what it turns out. Normally we used 3mm plywood last season, but this season we'll probably, the newer seasons will probably switch over to 5mm plywood because it's a lot more sturdier. Or 5mm thermoplastics like polycarbonate. So we just do extrude 5mm. Bravo. So yeah, here is your first parallel plate. Great. And let's change the color, make it less ugly. Let's choose gray. This is a cooler color, I suppose. So this is the inner side plate. So now let's head on over to the outer side plate. So let's think, how are we going to make an outer side plate? So in the case of ARCAD here, oh dang, this is not the most fun thing to do. So you can see here that there is a mounting pattern here. Very complicated mounting pattern, but we're going to simplify this. This is from our initial season. We don't need to have this many holes. This is way too many holes. This is a hole span. So let's reduce this a little bit. So as you can see, let's go back into documentation. So as you can see here, this kind of says what the whole mounting hole structure looks like. So these are 12mm apart. Actually, this is kind of confusing, to be honest. So as you can see, there are 2 screws here. So actually, in this case, I kept a space for you to screw in the screws, but normally you actually don't really need that. So we're not going to do that here. So we're going to just do a total of 5 screws to screw in this drive hole. So if we go back, you can see that they have an outer thing here. So we can also import that. Let's also import that. Just for us to use that. Okay, so this is the outer drive plate. We're just gonna base our outer side plates based on this pattern here. So we don't need to like make it exactly like that. So they have like kind of left a space out to, as you can see, to kind of be able to access this these 2 screw here's. But the problem is we're never going to access these 2 screws because they're just not going to come loose after you Loctite them. And also another thing is that this pin here, in this case they left this place empty, and this pin can actually slide out. So this pin is the thing that is like here. Let me find it. So this pin is there a picture? No, there's not a picture. So this pin is the thing that goes inside this planetary gear here. So it can actually just slide out through this thing here, and you just do not want that to happen. Which is like really awkward. I don't know why they made this design like this, which is kind of hilarious. So we're just gonna kind of leave around, have 4 or 5 holes here. So let's go back. We can use like the exact same method as we before. So we can create Control M, or you can just search it up here, create mate. So we're gonna do this, select here, we create a mate. Okay, then we're gonna use this mate to then create another part. Boom, we have a part. And then based on the top plane, let's make a sketch. So let's see which ones we choose. So we're going to do these four, let's say. These four. Just do U. Done. So basically, essentially, because this is kind of the same as the other one, we can just kind of copy this over. But as you can see, you can also just kind of measure the distance based using Onshape and kind of just draw it off based on the other one. But we're just going to kind of essentially mirror what we did in our earlier process. So in this case, we're just going to do this, kind of copy this curvy side. It's this aura, kind of cooler than just like a square brick sort of case, but it doesn't really matter that much in this case scenario. So just do this U and then highlight the entire thing. Let's do linear pattern. So flip direction, we only need 2, and our distance is 304. Oh wait, I'm dumb. We can only mirror, we're transforming these holes and we're mirroring this part, like this edge. So let's highlight these 4 holes. Dummy. So let's mirror pattern, flip the sign, or you can make the number negative if you want, 304, and change the number of occurrences to 2. And great. So then we need to make a helper line, which is our construction lines. Let's just make this 20. You just want to keep everything constrained, even though like the constraining does no use. Mirror. So since this is already selected, you press mirror. We can now select entities you mirrored right now. So you can just highlight stuff like this and this. So it's highlighted. So great. Oh wait, dang, this is wrong. My bad. This construction line is not right. So let's delete this, because you can see here it's from this line to over here, so it's not precisely in the middle. So essentially, you need to have a line from here to the center right to here, and do this up. Make sure to turn them into construction lines, because we don't want them to be interfering with the actual thing. So then select this, mirror, and kind of mirror this. Then we can just connect this. Make sure to press Q to cancel the construction line. Connect this, and we don't need to leave that empty in the real and the actual thing. So here is our outside plate. Hooray! Let me just make sure this thing is not wrong. Yeah, this is not wrong. So as you can see here, we based the middle line based on this. So it's correct. Okay, so then as you remember, I chose these 2 holes. So let's do U again, and then let's mirror them again too. Great. So we have that done, and now we can just extrude that again. 5 millimeters. Change this to gray to make it cooler. And great. We have our outer plate. So let's rename these. Outer plate. Rename inner plate. And then so now we can make assembly using these 2 things.